to take the first pick here. No, actually, no, we forgot. Zeri was left open and available. Zeri's going to be the first in the LPL here for Team WE.
So, it's really cool that we get Zeri. One of the big issues with Zeri is she's incredibly short range. And JDG have kind of just gone, cool, Corki Jinx. Let's just run it back. Let's make sure that we can play at range and you don't have the opportunity to really get in. Now, one of the big things with Zeri is that she does play well off of when she gets a lot of shields because that's increased her move speed. So things like Yuumi, Lulu rise in priority here in this bot side to be paired alongside with it. So it means that, at least from Kedaya's perspective, we won't really be getting him playing this kind of heavy roaming style and working with BiuBiu once more. So it looks like maybe WE will have to find a different game plan on how they want to try and approach this early game.
Right, so we get the Zeri locked and loaded. It's going to be the Gwen again for BiuBiu, going to pick that one up nice and early. I don't really, I kind of like it, but I also don't like it because obviously, yes, the Gwen is a massive power pick, but it does leave them open to just getting caught out in terms of a counter pick right now, and they don't really have the bans available to them to try and stop that. So Gwen locked in, the Nautilus as well, so you're going for a real hard engage in this bot side, and the Kennen locked for 369.
And I like this from 369, right? It's one of his most played, actually, sorry, his most played so far this split, but when you're trying to play at range, having the opportunity for Kennen to just sit on top of you and make sure that he's able to use that maelstrom to buy space to the backline is super valuable, especially looking at WE, right? We said, look, we'll probably see some sort of Enchantress support paired with Zeri. That's not going to be the case. They realize, hey, look, the amount of range that's on JDG's side, we need to look for engage tools. Nautilus going to provide that. BiuBiu won't be providing it with the Gwen unless we see what we saw over in LEC, which is like where Selfmade swapping that Gwen into the jungle. Maybe BiuBiu tries to look for some sort of counter pick here now in that top side of the map, because again, just more engage is going to set up WE really nicely and enable this Zeri to get that big AoE shred off.
Big thing as well is that the Kennen does a really good job into the Gwen in general, just able to keep at range, doesn't have to be that much pressure. Should the Gwen ever try to go aggressive, you can just, you know, lightning surge away. A lot of options available to you. And now final bans coming in. I like this Poppy ban actually coming out from WE. They recognize there's actually a lot of people who want to try and jump on top of the faces of JDG. We mentioned that short range, so getting rid of that disengaging champion, of course, the steadfast presence. But now, do they just go back to an old favorite here for JDG? They are hovering around a couple of these supports that can just help kiting with the side that JDG have built.
I mean, this is the perfect Janna game. We talked about her getting buffed, but looks like instead they're actually going to take the engage for JDG. So I can get it to a certain extent, right? Like, instead of playing on the back foot, you're going to try and fight fire with fire in the bot side. Support matchup win coming through for Leona in that bot lane, and if you can actually look for engages there, try and burst out this Nautilus. But I don't think that's really your best case here. I feel like just kind of like trying to play at range and kite back could have worked out well. And especially as you can see here, right, WE, they're going for this all-in engage. They're looking for the Diana now who can try and leap into this fight. I was actually surprised that we didn't see the Yasuo, but instead of the Yasuo, it's going to be the Tryndamere mid for Shanks.
Yeah, it's going with Tryndamere instead of the Yasuo. I have seen it. It's not unheard of, but definitely would prefer that big wombo combo. We'll see what JDG want to pick into it again. Honestly, the Viego for Kanavi in that early game was so good. They were able to utilize it so well in that first game that, yeah, you just go straight back to it. So team comps locked and loaded. I feel like, again, WE are going to be struggling to make their composition work. They're going to be waiting for opportunities, and if the last game is anything to go by, JDG is not going to give them it.
It's a little bit different here for JDG though, in that I thought they'd have some sort of peel tools coming in their side, right? Like, that's why we see the Poppy ban, we saw the TK ban, and WE were kind of thinking the same thing, right? But because JDG are kind of like, hey, missing has to go in if we want to try and find the CC and kind of be a bit
versus team WE.
WE, we're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to manage it. The big issue that I'm seeing right now for them is kind of what the early game plan is for WE. Kedaya is... Oh, hang on. Yeah. Kedaya is on this Nautilus, but... What's happening here?
Could be a bit of a skirmish happening right now. It's going to be a 3v3, but the support is there. It's actually a 4v3. BiuBiu and Shanks going to back themselves away. But as you were saying...
Yeah, so the big problem is that Kedaya is on something that can actually look to link up with you and Rome, right? But BiuBiu is not exactly on a champion that wants to do a huge amount pre-6. You want to just clear as efficiently as possible, hit that level 6 as soon as you can, and then try to look and make plays with that with the Moonfall. If that's going to be the case, like, Yagao going to get a ton of extra gold off of this Corki who's got first strike, right? Like, he's going to do a ton of damage to Shanks, be able to farm up. I was actually curious to see if he was going to go for a cull early, just so then he can try and, like, really scale into the late game. Hope as well will be totally fine here. Got a decent range on towards Zeri and shouldn't be under too much pressure here, especially when you've got Missing who can kind of turn that engage around if Kedaya tries to go aggressive. So I feel like for JDG, once more, they're kind of able to play this slow early game that favors them.
Well, this is how it all plays out. We will see the supportal combat for the Brush. It does tend to go towards the Nautilus, as you can see here. Actually going with the Aftershock rather than the Glacial Augment. This is the trade-off we're seeing a lot more in the LPL. You either decide to go for your innate tankiness with the Aftershock, or you go for that survivability with the Glacial Augment, and that's Missing going for that Glacial Augment instead. So
I actually don't like this from Kedaya. So one of the... Oh, hang on. One of the big...
No, you're going to have to stop yourself there again, as we're going to see Missing getting caught up. He flashes away. I don't know why you flash away from that, but now Xing might be in a little bit of trouble. The auto attacks are coming in. Can Hope get the auto attack down? Yes, he can. Now he's level 2, and you can see Kanavi is coming straight back in. Oh, Kedaya! We're trying to see if he can get him down to stun. Not quite able to get the last auto attack down, and now he's just going to be fodder for Kanavi to have this good early game start. I'm not quite sure why we're looking at about 12 different cameras, but at the end of it all, it's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of JDG.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the screen. Yes, kinda. I don't know.
I'll figure
let
it
me
out.
zoom
You
in
break
and
down
see if I
what
can
happened.
try to spot this. Yeah. Here's the play that happened on bot side. Nice job. I mean, the flash coming through from stay means that, sorry, not from stay, from Kedaya, means that you're actually able to, like, buy some space there, and it works out relatively okay. But sorry, don't know what's happening with my screen right now.
So yeah, just to give context, our screen has been split into 12 separate screens. There we go. We're back into it there. So, but yeah, for a moment there, we couldn't really see what was going on.
Yeah. But okay, coming back into it. Xing going too far forward to get the kill means that Hope does get it. Kanavi managed to pick up the secondary kill. But the point that I was going to make is actually kind of shown in that, is that if Kedaya... The way that this matchup works with Leona and Nautilus is that when Leona engages, Nautilus has to try and Q to walk away because he just doesn't have the same tankiness as Kanavi. Just going to walk away. But the big thing that we've seen is that, like, although Nautilus, like, oh, hang on.
Maybe they're going to find something. They are going to be able to get the Lunar Rush to try and get Viu out, but there's nowhere else for you to go, my son. JDG will pick themselves up a 3rd kill. Now Kedaya will find himself actually just jump straight forward as I lag just a little bit there. As Shanks goes underneath the turret, Yagao gets picked off, and at the end of it all, it's all falling apart for Team WE. JDG are just picking them out. It's only 4.5 minutes in, and they've only got 1,000 gold lead.
And so much of this is, again, Missing getting this roam towards mid. Kanavi having the support coming through from 369. This is so much better from JDG again in these early stages where they're actually linking up. And now we can see off the replay, JDG punishing Viu for this invade. Viu not having push in mid, not having push in top. This was so greedy. And 369, great predict on the flash as well with that Q. He said he's able to land the stun and set that up. And then Shanks knows he's overextended to try and help out. And Yagao, Valkyrie away with the flash predict as well to keep himself out of harm's way from Shanks.
Gotta say, the Glacial Augment from Missing, that little bit of damage reduction, enough to stop that auto attack from the Tryndamere from taking him down. JDG now very much in the comfortable position coming into this game, and we talked about it, how difficult this game will become for the side of WE should they fall behind, because JDG just have more range.
And the possibility of keep pushing, right? Because, like, they control the bot side of the map. They have push in mid as well for Yagao. You can see because Yagao has gone for 1st strike, yes, he's got the kill, but he's opening up a 400 gold lead over Shanks just off of both the 1st strike and that kill. Like, there's so much that's going to go in favor of JDG. And again, Kanavi doing a really good job of linking up with Missing. They're going to get vision control down and try and stop View from having that impact when he hits 6.
Nice that looks. 1, 1, 1, 1. Like everyone gets a kill on JDG. It just looks so satisfying, and it means that every single lane is accelerated. It means that every single lane is feeling confident. As View, you have no flash, buddy. You need to be so careful. Missing, thinking about it, but he's only level 3. He doesn't want to overcommit and get himself taken out.
Especially when you have 3 members of WE down there, doesn't want to go for it. That is the downside of taking this Glacial Augment, is that you aren't as tanky. Usually, you're able to kind of go tit for tat because the Nautilus generally takes the Glacial Augment as well, but not this time. Like JDG looking for the Dragon.
I mean, they're going to go for it here. Kanavi goes over the top there. He's going to be able to steal off of this. No, he's not. Actually, I say that. Yes, he is, because Diana is dead. Kanavi gets the reset down as well. Uses the Lunar Rush to get himself away as well, and gets the reset. Oh, Shanks, there's just nothing for you to do. 7-1 in kills. JDG got a Dragon. I feel like this game is just running away from them.
I mean, it's already gone. It's out the door. It's off the field. Like, this is well and truly done. 3 kills on towards Hope. You got Corki, who's already got a kill for himself. Actually, just kill across the board. Like, sharing the love here. And oh, that was such a disaster from WE. I don't know why they're trying to hard force these plays when View doesn't have level 6, right? Like, they try to force this. Yes, Xing can do some good work, but like, Missing is basically just soloing out View on the back line of this fight. Hope is able to get here. Yagao has the ability to follow across as well. And it's just a disaster from JDG. Or sorry, from WE. Nothing here is going to work out for them, and JDG just clean up.
Such a hyper-accelerated Jinx now. Going into a Zeri. The Zeri was the hype pick. That was your priority pick. And it's just not going to be able to do a lot right now. It's going to be a long time before this Zeri is really able to kind of push forward. Kedaya will make himself known as Hope backs himself away, but this is starting to look a bit dire, to say the least. 2,500 gold in favor of JDG. They got themselves a Dragon as well. You can see now Shanks and View roaming around saying, look, we got to find something. But that's a package Corki. You cannot go up against that.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just down here to try and protect the bot side, right? They already have vision for Kanavi, so he knows he's free to take this Rift Herald. Yagao got pushing mid, so all he's doing is using the package that was for Rift Herald to keep his bot lane safe and stop any sort of cross map. So again, nice covers from JDG on any sort of plays that want to happen. And now you got to look at like WE and go, right, this Zeri pick, as you said, you brought it in. Zeri works well in kind of compositions that like to deathfall, right? Like, you end up being able to get not only the through damage off of E, the Spark Surge, but the static damage essentially that comes off of your ult as well. Gonna shred, you get what's it called? You get Triforce, but the Titanic Hydra and the Runins as well means that you're just shredding through everyone that's clumped up. But that's not what really JDG are gonna play like.
Well, they're going to play a lot more aggressive, though, on this top side. As you can see there, the Slicing Nelson traded, but it is a trade of Ghost and a Needlework for only the ultimate of the 369 Kennen. So you're still pretty happy with that trade. Still got the Rift Herald in the back pocket as well. As you can see now, JDG just going to maybe drop that towards that bot side. You can see him already beelining it on the mini-map because they know they're in the they have the pressure. They have themselves a setup. Lightning Rush is used there by 369, but he just catch BiuBiu walking into the brush, so walks himself away. And this is just going to be a hyper-accelerated Jinx. Already a 1,200 gold lead for Hope over Xing, and actually he's probably going to get even bigger now.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to reset, get his completed item, and then you can look at linking up with Kanavi, who's on his way down. Kedaya and View trying to dismantle that play, but at least putting pressure onto this bot side. But Yagao can push in mid, reset, and maybe look for something himself onto this bot side. So it really does feel like JDG have control over this bottom half of the map, and with Dragon in a minute and a half, right? Even if you don't end up using this Rift Herald immediately, you've still got enough time on it where you can make a play.
Oh, Zhonya used by Yagao does have himself the Valkyrie and the Flash, so keeps himself relatively safe. Pops down the exhaust, should still fall down. Shanks is going to get himself popped into the Undying Rage, and Kanavi will not follow suit with the rest of WE there. Again, good pick in there, using that very strong combination of the Diana and the Tryndamere to get themselves some kind of an advantage back.
Yeah, at least it's a little bit of something, and especially when you want to try and use this Rift Herald proactively, as we were saying, like Dragon spawning, that's going to put a bit of a problem into the works, as
He's
Yagao,
alright. He's alright.
as Yagao, because he I don't know why he was trying to position there though. He had no mana. I think he just looked for the reset and then looked for his play after his missing cost.
He's caught a little bit. They are going to try and run him down, but again, Glacial Augment does get the damage reduction. Of course, he has his W as well on that, so getting himself some nice extra stats as well. And it's going to mean the reset comes in. Xing should be able to pick himself up maybe a plate, maybe not. It's going to be difficult to see how that one goes, but you now have a Gale Force, like you mentioned, onto Hope. You have got the Divine Sunderer here for Kanavi. You have options available to you, and with Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, it looks like it's going to be JDG just taking the lead on that as well.
Hey, Kanavi going to start as red, and I thought that basically we'd see Kanavi rush mid, place that down, and try and then look across towards the Rift Herald, but actually taking a bit of time in this topside jungle, which means that WE may be in a position to try and force this, because Hope hasn't really got that push on bot side just yet, and with Kanavi not in the area to try and allow Missing to get vision, WE can actually move into this river.
And make a move. You will be spotted. No, he won't actually. He just got down a pink board just as he was walking over. So now, JDG going to start off this dragon. They will take it so exceptionally quickly. You do have the rocket belt though for view, so he should be able to get himself into a good position and a flash. They are just kind of pincering in now. Shanks going to come in, stolen by the Nautilus of all people. And now the fight can really begin. The Diana is the first casualty of this war as Kanavi now seeing if he can make something else work for him. They're going to jump straight on the Shanks, and it's just him versus 4 people. He does not care. He is going to end up see. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Kedaya will have to use his flash to get over the wall, but great steal from WE. Yes, they lose 2, but they gain the dragon.
They also gain the Rift Herald, because even though we're looking at the dragon, Kanavi never placed that Rift Herald, and it's now timed out. So, big advantage for Kanavi not used. And now, WE, yes, you lost 2, but at least it looks like you'll be able to defend. Now, the goal going across is obviously not ideal, as Kedaya. No, not going to try and look for it, but that's 2 objectives now that kind of give yourself a little bit of breathing room that JDG just didn't get to use. And again, like trying to flip this here, not really sure why we're trying to go for it, but it does mean that at least the follow-up fight can be won by JDG.
Yeah, and again, you'll take the gold that you didn't get from the Rift Herald that you did not put down, but nevertheless, you do get a lot of summoners, you do get a lot of resets as well, so still a 4,500 gold lead coming up to 14 minutes. It's still a very, very large amount of gold in that back pocket of the Viego and, of course, the Jinx, so plenty to talk about, and this is where the game needs to start accelerating for JDG. This is where I want to see a little bit more from them. Again, with, you know, great expectations come great flops, in my opinion, sometimes. We can see now Yagao
Well, I think
not picking up the great timings with the packages.
So I think like, whatever with the package, I think looking back at that last fight is kind of where we look at like JDG, the inability to understand how to set up correctly for objectives, right? Like we talk about having the Herald, it's very easy for them to move Kanavi bot side. Oh, hang on, BiuBiu.
Going to find Kanavi, and actually going to be a full fight now into the mid lane. The solar flare goes down, Missing goes golden, and now see if they can turn this one around. Zeri jumping straight back onto the backside. That's not where you want to be though, when you don't have anyone to defend you. And that's 1 kill, 2 kills, maybe even more, 3 going over to Hope, and what looked like an opportunity for WE was slashed down. JDG bring them back into the game.
That is a 6-kill Jinx now for Hope. This AD carry is huge. Mid lane turret going down, and the fact was Yagao wasn't even in the fight. Yagao was pushing on this bottom side of the map as well. So for JDG, it's just wins across the board, and for WE, they're kind of just throwing themselves like flies at a windshield, and they're just going splat.
Yeah, they are not having a good time right now. Let's have a look at this one, because again, this is Kedaya just saying, look, I can go on. And it's honestly a fantastic hook. How it found Hope, I will never know.
Yeah, but the problem is that like they can't follow up, right? Hope is able to flash over the wall. 369 is able to come in as well. Just perfect flank set up for himself. And they just shut this down. It's the gold lead doing way too much for JDG there. Now we've got Rift Herald number 2 that Kanavi will pick up. And it feels like at least this time around he can walk straight top, put that down if he wants to, and get value out of it.
Yeah, he thought about it. Maybe thought about it, and then he heard you talking mad schmack and said, you know what, I'm not going to let it happen again. I'm not going to let it run out and not get that advantage. So we are going to see Yagao.
Well, the reason it annoyed me, right? The reason I was so annoyed by the Rift Herald timing it was you can literally just bonk it mid. Oh, sorry, you can rotate bot, sorry, if you want to.
Anywhere.
Use it on that bot wave with Hope, force WE out of position, and then you just walk over and take Dragon for free. Where, like, without actually having to worry about the river flip. and instead they don't get any value out of the Rift Herald, and they lose the Dragon as a result. But it's just a little thing, like JDG will actually potentially get this top lane inhibitor.
Yeah, they are going to be able to break up on the base. This is the second time now we've seen them take a very early advantage and kind of just keep pushing it and keep prodding away from it. We are going to see the hook land, but it's onto Missing. He's going to be able to get down his Glacial Augment with the Shield of Daybreak. Now a full 4v5 is going to go in. 369 though with the slicing Maelstrom just deletes any hope they had. The resets are coming in. Hope is excited, as so are JDG fans. Everyone's just piling in, and they're going to look to try and break up in this base. 2 kills go over to Kanavi. A hook for Kanavi. He's not even done yet. Triple kill for Kanavi, and we wanted him to step up, and he stepped up big time.
And you see JDG running away, don't even want the inhibitor right now, knowing that it'll end up just giving more resources across to WE if they take it. So they just take the turrets instead. Tier 2 in the mid, down 3 kills for Kanavi, and it is a disaster for WE. We said shut up or put up at the start of the day, and it's just silence from the WE fans.
I mean, honestly, JDG now, let's have a look at this replay, because again, it's just such a good re-engage here from 369. They know he's there, but they're just not respecting it.
But this is what we talked about for the Kennen pick, right? Like, it's so good in compositions that want to kite back, because the second you overcommit as WE, you just pop the ultimate, you still buy space for your backline with the CC, but everyone's just grouping up perfectly for the ults. So 369 gets a ton of damage down, and Kanavi just knowing exactly how much he can do on this champion, right? Going right in towards the back line, picking off the Zeri, and unfortunately, this is going to be adding to Zeri's pretty abysmal win rate right now in competitive play. This pick has not worked out.
Has not. Shanks, though, could be stunned up by the Solar Flares, Missing and Yagao, but they're just disengaging. They don't care right now. It's 18 minutes in the game. They can't even go for Baron right now. We talked about it last time. It's even earlier than last game in terms of when we thought we could go for it, and now you don't really have many places to work from WE. You're just waiting to try and find like that 5-man, go for a death ball, look to try and get a pick, but there's so much safety here. And now BiuBiu, the rest of WE, they're being corralled, they're being shepherded into a corner, and they don't really know where they want to go. BiuBiu gets caught out. They're going to get Kedaya to get the ultimate down onto Hope, and the rest of the fight can really begin. Missing is going to get stunned up, but already the Gwen has been taken out. The resets are coming in, and Shanks is all on his lonesome. Nowhere for him to go, nothing for him to do. He does have himself the Undying Rage, but he is not going to be able to get anything else out of it. He's going to get taken down. It's all about who gets it, and Kanavi is the one to pick that one up. It's 18 minutes and 50 seconds into the game, and we are at a 12,000 gold lead for JDG.
This is the JDG I wanted to see. This is the JDG that people are wondering where they went from 2020. Because 2021 was not clean for this squad, and a lot of that was questions around Kanavi. Why is he making some of the plays and decisions that he's doing? Why is he not being able to facilitate his team? And now, coming into 2022, those questions were still there, but this is a big answer from JDG. Kanavi looking good in the early stages. Hope and Missing, the 2v2 has been looking strong. And now, they actually look coordinated as a team as well. Some mistakes, as we called out with the Rift Herald and the Dragon play, but overall, this is far more positive than we've seen from JDG in the past.
This is so good from them right now. They have got themselves up to about 20 minutes. They haven't been able to end the game just yet. I will say the quickest game of the split so far was OMG versus TT. It was 22-minute and 45-second bout, so we'll keep an eye on that timer. But Missing still pushing forward. Missing still hunting right now. 2-1 and 12, has had 14 of the 20 kills participated in. That's not even as good as his AD carry, who's 8-0 and 8. 16 kills participated in right now for that Jinx. And honestly, they're just going to wait for the Dragon to spawn. They can take it off of spawn.
Yeah, they're just literally waiting for the purple worm to come onto the map, and they're just going to take it. You can't really stop this as WE. And, you know, we talked about the large jungle proximity that we've seen from Hope coming into the day. You can see there, right, 16 of the 20 kills he's been involved in. Hope has been the focal point for this team, and why we highlighted him at the start of the day.
Well, Baron has been taken. You have about 2 minutes and 15 seconds now for JDG to make the quickest game of the split, and they're going to be able to run down mid lane. There's no real defense here, and look at the short rangeness of this composition. How you defend against a siege, I don't know, because you just don't have any wave clear.
TP coming through from 369 into the top lane. They're trying to see if they can pick off BiuBiu. BiuBiu hopping over the wall, but now gives control of the wave back over. He's even got to TP out. Kanavi might find him? No. But Going to now start pushing in onto that exposed inhibitor on the top side. You got push coming through from Yagao in the mid lane. JDG are spreading across this Baron buff and making sure it's nigh on impossible for WE to defend.
Got a little bit of wave clear here from Xing, but there's not really a lot else going for you. 369 pushing on the top side. They are going to try and 4v1 this, or 4-1 this, as Yagao just backs himself away. Again, what are you going to do? You tried being aggressive, you walked away, you lost another objective. There's not really a lot else to say about this, as now the super minions will start teaming into that top side. Got about a minute left, minute 15 until that quickest game happens. So it's going to happen within the next, minute or so of this Baron buff. Now, JDG as 5 pushing in towards this mid lane. Shanks already pushed away by the spin. He's not willing to get caught out just yet. The solar flare goes out. Xing does dash away, but he doesn't have that now for a little bit. So quite a long cooldown in the early game is now. Middle inhibitor has fallen. They're going to be able to keep pushing forward. To Kedaya, he's going to have to try and keep himself alive. He's got himself the aftershock proc, but I don't think he wants to go anywhere forward. And BiuBiu goes into his death. Shanks gets exhausted. He's not going to be able to find anything else. The moonfall is good, but not good enough. The resets are coming in for this Jinx, and they are just dismantling WE. Nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to talk about. And there's going to be so much more now. Triple kill for Kanavi, and he lives in 22 minutes and 30 seconds. JDG just absolutely dominate WE.
This was a statement series from JDG. Coming back off of the split, they're like, hey, look, we wanted to take a bit of a break, refigure out how we wanted to play, and it feels like Kanavi has direction in the game. Playing down towards the spot side, Hope missing, looking pretty good in the 2v2. Still some hiccups, but even then, like, their early skirmishing looks way better